How much time are we planning on spending here?
I don't know, as much as it takes, I suppose.
From what? Go ahead.
I'm planning on being here until at least when he wakes up.
Could be a while.
Maybe, but I owe him that much.
Well, I mean, like, what do you even say when he wakes up? Oh, thanks for hanging out and help for us. Sorry about that. This our mistake. But we got your back. I don't even know what you say to someone after something like this. I'm doing that thing where I fill the gap because no one else is talking. And Locke's just kind of looked. You guys knew him, you were friends, you went to hell together, maybe it's like, way to go, bro. Maybe there's some, like, bro bonding stuff. Some, like, you guys went through the shit. Like, I know you don't remember. You went through some shit. Take my word for it, you went through some shit.
Well, it'd be easier to commiserate if we could remember.
Yeah. Well, not everybody gets everything they want.
Apparently not.
I agree with Katerina. I want to be here when he awakes. At least so he has a familiar face.
Very human of you. Well, human of you all.
Honestly, I don't care about this at all. I'm here because you are.
I don't know why I expected anything different.
He's also not friends with Hargraves, I don't believe.
Well, I understand the intricacies of the fact that he's your friend, and that you feel responsible for what happened. I get that, and I respect your need to make it right, but sacrifices have to be made, and I think at the time Hargraves chose to make that sacrifice. I imagine once he wakes, he may be very angry at us just for intervening.
Well, then he can stew in his anger.
Well, that, and it's not like intervening took back anything you sacrificed.
Time.
Well, what I mean is, it's like you're all still safe. It's not like we were like, oh yeah, no. We know you totally sacrificed yourself so your friends could get away, but we totally went take-backsies and took that from you, and now you're safe, but they're in hell. Everyone's relatively okay.
True. I suppose as long as we only spend a little bit of time here, it won't be that bad.
Well, you heard him, so we only have like a year or two. Then we really gotta get going.
You're finally catching on to my humor. It's appreciated. Run my hand through your hair.
Well, I try.
Godrek? Did you drink something wrong?
I think the ale I left in that water skin is not good anymore.
When did you put it in there?
I don't remember.
Oh, then yeah, probably. It's probably not good at all. It's... Godrek, I understand. You know fermentation and how ale is made and how that all works? It doesn't keep going after you, like, open it and, like, put some spit and backwash in there. It just goes downhill. You gotta ferment in the right conditions. I'm not an expert. I'm just jack of all trades.
It's always funny when Trin laughs at himself. Because I don't see the joke.
My favorite part is when he points out into the open field and winks at it.
He's practicing for when he has people watching him.
Oh, that makes sense, yes.
Yeah,
you would have grown accustomed to having an audience.
Yeah, you gotta practice, because you gotta be charismatic. Especially when you're trying to influence the will of the people. I mean, you gotta buy favor. Not all of us have, like, natural, gravitational stuff. Some of us have to work at it. Not all of us can, like, walk up in a really shiny outfit and be like, well, God sent me. And then they just suddenly get everybody's respect.
He's talking about us.
Yeah, well, more you than her. She's just really
thank
nice and kind of pretty. So people tend to listen to her.
I think Catherine is far more than really nice and kind of pretty.
See, that's exactly the kind of shit I'm talking about. Right there.
What?
I do think that was a genuine compliment.
Should we mark this down as a momentous occasion?
I compliment you. I don't compliment him, but I compliment you. Compliment you all the time too, Trin.
Yes, you do.
And Locke's here.
Yes, he is.
Speaking of Locke, what are you going to say to him?
I'm gonna apologize. It's the best I can do.
Here, Godrek, try something from my water skin.
We were all trapped in the first place because of me, so after I apologize, I'll let him say what he needs to say.
Well, if he gets really upset and wants to use you as some weird metallic chew toy.
I'm pretty
what
sure
if
he tried.
What if all this is pointless and we get there and he's just fucked up? Like, what if he's mentally deranged and needs someone to take care of him forever?
I assume that's what your friends are going to help him with.
That's what I thought you called in support for.
Well, no, that's not for that. That's just to get... Well, one, if he does go crazy, he's outside of the city.
Then we'll pay your friends to take him somewhere that he can get help.
I don't think there's a place you can just send someone for that.
Then return him to his brothers and the Blood Hunters.
Blood Hunters, I've read of these, but we don't have any on Eridor. I don't understand, is it some sort of adventurers guild?
Sort of.
I have no idea.
Monster slayers, other sort of work.
Adventurers, then? How did he become a werewolf?
Well, it's part of their enclave. So, blood hunters are strange creatures. They're not entirely human all the time.
If I'm not mistaken, I remember him talking about being taken as a young child, I think.
Well, they learn stuff from these monsters that they hunt, and then they adapt those things to help them be better at whatever they're trying to do, which is generally, taking contracts and, working on the Enclave's behalf to further their ends. It's almost like a guild.
Or a knightly order, even.
Close.
Interesting. And Godrek, he was a Goliath, but he's not...
Goliathy?
Well, no, not that. He's just... Well, he didn't have any of the same markings or hairstyle or anything that you had.
He was taken from his tribe, so he was not raised the way Goliath was raised. He was raised as a blood hunter.
Well, I mean, shit. What you saw was not even really a blood hunter anymore. It was a full-fledged werewolf. He passed on the curse to you and Katarina. I think it might be some sort of weird side effect from being stuck in that form for so long. It's a survival mechanism.
I've seen them transform into something like that before. This one was much larger and definitely hit harder.
You think it just gets worse as he stays in there?
That or some devilish thing had a hand in him.
Oh no, I didn't.
Gave him power.
I didn't get that kind of sense. Why would you empower someone you're trying to trap and hold? I think it was a survival mechanism, and it got worse. It's something that you would have to tame or hold back, kind of like your rage. What if you were raging all the time? You would just become a monster.
I've pointed in the right direction. It's effective.
one perspective, yes, a monster. In another perspective, I think you'd become quite tired.
I think the best we can hope for is that being that way shielded him or protected him somehow while he was there.
Maybe they were. From what I know, the little I know through working with the choir, that they were created during an age of power, where way back when, where magic was much more fraught and uncontrolled before a lot of the wizards and circles started up. And there was even conflicts between mages and sorcerers and those of the blood hunters. The strange types of raw magics that they, I guess for lack of a better word, tampered with to do the things that they were trying to do. But it was also a dire time for humans, so I think they felt like they had to. Monsters were much more prevalent. It would be like kind of like when we were in those towns with all the undead everywhere. It'd just be survival. Imagine that, but everywhere, of all different types and shapes.
So then all of these blood hunters are lycanthropes?
No, they're not all lycanthropes. From what I understand, some of them are downright mysterious. It depends on the enclave themselves. Generally, a group that runs together will have similar abilities, but they all come from different sources. I've heard of things like ghostly ones and dark pacts and rituals. Really, if you're not familiar with the enclave they come from, it could be anything. Generally, it's not a positive angelic force. It's normally something darker, twisted, depraved that was used out of necessity or bastardized.
Yes, and dark powers often lead to... Well, I suppose what I should say is, when you're looking for a shortcut to power, often the best path is the dark one.
Yeah, but normally they're pretty honed and controlled. At least from what I understand. Scary, but controlled.
So if we could find his people, his order, maybe they could look after him?
Yeah. We could enlist the Silver Choir to help get him back to his enclave if that's what he wants, or if he is too sick or beyond recovery.
Send him to live in the manor in Leor.
I'd
Well,
rather
if he's
not
sick
send
and
a
beyond
raging
recovery,
werewolf.
I don't think that's the best route.
I guess we can't know what the best plan is going to be until he wakes up and we see how he is.
Not only that, but acting a bit entitled if we think it's our responsibility to choose what happens to him.
Well, if something has gone wrong with like his transformation, the only people who are really going to know how to fix that are his enclave. It's not like regular alchemy that someone can just figure out or deduce or diagnose. They're very secretive. You wouldn't want to be able to pass on the tool that is whatever he's affected by to just anybody. That, and maybe there's a certain way it has to be done.
Then all we can really do is suggest and see if he's alright or sane enough in the head to do it.
Guess so.
It's interesting, well, it's philosophical, maybe for another time. How much further is this manor?
Hopefully close. It's very tight in this thing.
I told
You guys have been on the road for. You guys have been on the road for a few hours. So you should be getting close to him now.
Hmm.
You left the wounded and the distraught behind a while ago on the side of the road.
Well, now I feel a little bad.
Not much we can do for returning soldiers.
Does make one want to go fight, though. I know we have better things to do, and it's important that we do everything else. It's just,
Well, we
Is
are
it-
fighting different battles.
yes, but there's a yearning to fight with everyone else, especially when they do not have the same capabilities as us.
Understandable.
If we were to include us in a battle like that, we would change tides.
Perhaps, but it has to be done the right way. You also have a great propensity for for collateral damage.
The what now?
Well, you'd be controlled, but let me simple out this. If you don't try really hard, you could end up causing the same amount of damage to our side.
No, they just go farther into their side.
Well, sure, but in a big crowded place with all that chaos, you may not know.
If I'm imagining if it's a war, I would just charge farther into them, and then everyone else around me should be an enemy. I just swing harder.
It's your strategy has merit. Sure.
Simple strategies.
Right, but we would be there too as well. So
Then
what does
you can-
Locke do with his fireball when our people are surrounding?
What
their
he
people?
normally does. He blows them up in front of me.
Armies are blunt instruments. We're more like surgical tools. We get behind the lines and kill the leaders,
I want
slay
to
the
be
dragons.
the blunt tool.
All right. well,
Sometimes
be
it's
our
kind of
blunt
nice
tool.
to be the hammer that strikes the thing.
Anvil.
Teleport the both of us on
Yes.
the top of the wall, and then I'll lightning bolt down the stretch of the wall, and then you clear out what I miss.
See, this is why he's the brains and I'm the anvil. No. Muscle. No.
And then we go
Brawn.
open the
There
gate.
it is.
And then we go open the gate. Battle's won, right?
Yeah.
Well, if we can better serve our cause by being on the front lines.
And when we wake up from this wonderful dream, we find out they have wizards on their side and Menja almost as strong as you, probably animals, and more than one gate, and moats, traps,
This still sounds fun
siege
to me.
weapons.
Sounds like a challenge we're doing.
you
Don't
can
say.
only kill so many people with one swing of your sword.
Exactly. I try swinging harder and see how many more I can add.
What I mean is you're more useful in the dungeon, behind
That-
enemy lines.
Well, yes. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just saying what I would like to do, but I can't. Because it's better to do this.
If what you're feeling is the call to battle, I understand that quite a bit.
Yes, exactly what it is. I'm feeling angry. Not angry. A desire to go help where I might feel like I can.
Bloodlust.
Yep.
I do, in fact, worship a god of war,
Thought that. Wait, what?
Alatrari. War, vengeance, and justice.
Those last two are new to me. Like, I didn't know that your god was that as well.
Three faces.
Hmm.
Oh well.
Well, so what is? I know that we want to go to the maze of not ending this. With
In Nithea,
yeah, that place.
right, Majocracy.
So
Theoretically, it's not far from here, but it is in the direction those armies were returning from.
then what? We have a little bit of a ride left. Do we want to see what we want to do once? Well, talk about it. So if Hargraves is fine, or he wants to do something else.
What are our options?
I mean, we could. We still got to find the keys. We have a baby, maybe not baby dragon in the Orc Kingdoms to deal with. That is being asked for by the Banner. Well, on the Banner Alliance is being asked, I believe, and we can help them on their behalf.
I think we need to go to the maze. That'll be our best chance at helping Locke, and we're going to do anything to help our friends, just like we always do.
Integrity is important. We can't act as a single unified wall against evil if one of ours is prone to murderous fits.
Just throw him deeper into the problem.
That was your strategy for the last thing, too.
Exactly. It's similarities.
I think we need to protect us first. Without us, I think the world stands much less of a chance.
Maybe if I motivate you in a specific way. Nadir liked to make lots of monsters. You could get to kill something very unique.
I want luck. Not want it better. I'm just torn. As normal. I want to do two things at once, and I cannot. So, here we are.
Understandable. Well, then I guess...
Well, we're talking about him like he's not here. That's mainly because he's being real quiet.
Sometimes he isn't here, even when he's right there.
Well, I've been thinking about Hargraves and his form, how he was more werewolf than usual since times we've seen him change. The effect is a curse, and a progressive one. He may have had rituals that he kept secret from us that keep the curse from spreading, like an illness or a cancer. And that long without it and under such stress could be took a more aggressive form.
Well,
And it's all the more reason to get him back to his brotherhood. They will have, if it is rites and rituals that keep the curse from taking its full form, they'll know what to do if those rituals fail. I don't know enough about blood hunters. It's just a suspicion.
it's just our best bet. I'd hate to think that we return them to them just for them to go like, oh, this one's lost. And just throw them on the pile kind of thing. The pile of dead bodies is what I was referring to. Like,
A rabid dog.
yeah.
Sometimes it's a mercy.
We're doing that thing we did with Marcus.
What?
We're trying to make a decision for someone that they can make for themselves. All we need to do is honor Hargraves. Whatever he wants is what he'll do.
I mean, when I spoke up, I would meant, like, what does he want to do about himself?
'Cause
You have more important things than my troubles.
You're second on the list, though.
If you all insist, I can't stop you, and I certainly won't let you go without me.
Well, do you suppose we could hire a wizard as powerful as you? Somewhere else?
I don't think you could afford that wizard.
I agree. So we do need you. Which means you need to be right.
Yeah, it's not like we can just put you in timeout. If you start casting really powerful magics, let's not pretend that you're not a really powerful and proficient mage.
What if there was some sort of contingency, though? What if you could weave some sort of spell or an item that we could use if you were to glitch out again?
I'm not much of an enchanter, so an item would be difficult for me. Spells, maybe. There's something.
Couldn't you just put him asleep like you did with Hargraves?
I don't sleep. And I can't be put to sleep.
Well, that sucks.
Magic is...
I have something I could do, but he'd have to be willing, and I doubt in that state that you would be.
Dangerous or not, you're all dangerous, and I assume you'd be nearby in the event of me losing myself again.
Yeah, well, that's not really how we should handle something like that.
You're bad enough fighting a dragon. with the 5 of us, but to have to fight that dragon and you, not a good idea. We got into there. You said you were in agreement with it if it's what we wanted to do.
Agreement, no. But I won't stop you, and I won't let you do it without me. So it's a
Well,
sort of entrapment, really.
Yeah, we very well may have to have you along. It is a very magical place. It'd be silly if we didn't bring you along.
I've always wanted to go. So, I won't lie, that part of it intrigues me. But this maze sounds incredibly dangerous. We'd be risking everything just stepping foot into it. Our entire mission, everything we've worked so hard for, we may never come back to.
Which we risk on a regular basis, and then on top of that, we risk it with any kind of encounter with you being unpredictable. But on the other end, after the risk, if it pays off, we'll be in a much better place.
Who knows if it'll pay off? Could be we get to the end and then...
Well, I'm pretty confident in our abilities, and we're not going to do well with that kind of attitude.
We saved Hargraves. It took some time, and it didn't work on our first attempt.
If we can rip a werewolf back from hell, I think a maze is doable, right, Katarina?
Just break down all the walls in a straight line, right? Go deeper into the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I would be shocked if that hasn't been tried.
But not by us.
A bunch of wizards are going in there. They're a bunch of nerds.
Because like we're better than everyone else. Because like we're thunder dangerous.
We are thunder dangerous.
We
And
saved Rivergate. We saved the ore. We definitely didn't die and need to restart. But that's a completely
we have
different
a daughter
conversation.
of Hecate with us.
Ex-daughter?
No, I think she's still a daughter.
A war master?
No, we have a war master who can go red eyes and just throw him at him like a prop, like a rabid raccoon.
A war wizard.
I'm a war wizard. He's a war master.
We can keep calling me a law master if you prefer.
There's a lot of things that have changed, and I haven't remembered yet. It takes a while. And then we have
The point is, I'm agreeing with Godrek, which means we have to be right. Because that never happens.
I say we all adapt war titles.
When did he?
Yes.
I'll be a war lore walker. And Katarina can be a war
Or
sorceress.
A war walker.
A war walker and a war-sorceress.
That sounds sort of like one, like those large animals. in the sea.
I heard something else.
A warbarian.
No, this doesn't roll off the tongue.
Barbarian, saving Marion, carrying all this weight on his back, on the attack. What?
Who is this Maid Marian?
Some hot chick from somewhere far away. In my imagination.
It's a displaced noble from the Shattered Coast. It's a very common human tale.
Continue.
She's no Inara.
No, I don't think
So
anyone
the question is, how are we getting to the nether region is place?
is. Another Magocracy.
That one.
We continue on this road further, or we waylay through some teleportation.
Teleportation is never bad, especially if we keep going this way.
Well, it's bad.
Never
sometimes.
bad. It's been bad more than once for us.
It's been bad more than it's been good. Actually, I'm thinking.
I have
No.
a feeling we're cursed sometimes.
Yes, you've mentioned that before.
If we keep going this way, we go to where the battling and war is, and
Do you know what the odds were that we brought not just a demon back with us, but one that powerful?
50-50.
Very high. It would have sensed, at the very least, my divine energy.
Oh, I'm glad you can take credit for it.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he did like make a dude's head pop off.
That wasn't me, that was the demon.
I don't know. You snapped your fingers, and then he was gone, and then he was back without a head.
You know what? You're right. It is a power I
The
have.
question is, do we...
Yeah.
The question is, do we travel through teleportation and risk doing that and killing a bunch of innocent people again, or travel down this road for many days through the front lines of the war, and then reach our destination.
Well, there's 5 of us. Maybe we just vote.
Killing many innocent people on the way.
Both ways.
Innocent soldiers.
Well, not innocent if they're on the side of the cult, right?
I don't know.
We do what we have to.
I have little goblin feet and little goblin legs, so I vote teleport.
You're going to be riding.
I vote riding on a teleportation.
I think the term is third time is the charm.
This time we'll get everyone killed.
No, third time's the charm is going to work.
The Elven saying is every time is a charm. I think I'm for the teleportation as well.
I agree. I think if we limit ourselves to not use it, it's going to slow us down a lot.
I'd give Burrup a vote, but he's sleeping.
And let's be honest, whenever we travel in an indirect way, stuff happens. Like jail.
I don't know.
Or having to stop at each and every town and right some wrong.
Or I don't know, part of me kind of wants to get stopped along the way by bandits, and then we just scare the shit out of them.
Those are the rules of the road. You right wrongs as you go.
Right, which I have no problem doing.
You right the wrongs.
Yes, which we should do, and
Yeah.
I'm all for that. But, hear me out, if we avoid the road, we make better time.
Yes, that's what I was saying. That's why I was saying teleport. Because if you're on the road, you gotta follow the laws of the road.
Agreed.
What are the laws of teleport?
I think we've all voted for teleportation. I don't think we need to debate about it.
Oh dear.
But the rules of the teleport, we'll write them ourselves. Rule number 1, never bring a demon with you.
Well, you took the credit for that. You can't look at me anymore.
Rule number 1.
It was your
Watch out for
bright
demons.
luminescence
Sure.
attracted
Yeah.
such devastation.
Perhaps.
Or we got very unlucky.
Rule number 1. Don't rely on spell scrolls.
That seems to be a very good rule.
Rule 2, don't bring a shiny paladin.
That's kind of discriminatory, don't you think?
Well, I mean, he's the one that said it was his fault, so...
It's his fault. It's kind of
Paladin is a more human term.
Don't.
Don't bring an elf with you?
No. That's
We are pretty shiny.
don't. Avoid pacts on the way. Avoid pacts.
Is that the estate up there?
But it better be. I don't see any other buildings.
All right. It's a work in progress. We're getting started. I'll have more by the time we go.
I'll ask for an update in a couple of days.
No, that's not a good rule. Ooh. Always skip a meal. Yeah.
Why do we have to skip the meal?
Well, I don't know about you, but when I teleport, I get a little rumbly in my tumbly, not in a good way.
That's the gutter gumbo trying to fight its way back out.
No, I eat gutter gumbo all the time. With Mom's recipe, it's fine. So, says the guy that eats friggin' year-old, gross, friggin' ferment stuff. Ale, mead, booze.
Yes.
Wait, this just happened earlier, just like a little bit ago.
I don't know what
I'm just saying, don't insult my gumbo. It's not the gumbo, it's the magic trip. Magic trip. All right.
So as Trin drones on writing his rules, the carriage driver alerts you that you're coming into the Asheburn estate and wide fields of wheat and small farmsteads and small villages stretch out before you. Near the center of it, along the road, you see this building of dazzling stone and clean half timber construction, and it kind of stands amid a series of these wild, like rolling wildflower beds. Along those rolling grounds, there's great and tall, like well tended to trees. Rows of lattice windows show it to be only 3 stories, but each is easily twice as tall as one might expect from a building. A veritable forest of chimneys projects out from the blue roof above the gables, dormers, and cornices, each a unique swirl of intricate designs. Crossing beyond the fence line to the estate, and following the road leads over a small bridge and moat, which cuts underneath the gatehouse to a central courtyard. The carriage comes to a halt just on the other side of a large tree in the middle of this courtyard. And here, a few servants take to opening the carriage door and offloading your luggage. And a long man with a thin twirled mustache approaches, dressed in a blue doublet with matching pants. So underneath the shade of this tree, you get out, stretch for a moment, take in the high sun and the cloudy sky. The man addresses you. So, I assume that you are the guests that we're expecting.
I
Yes.
imagine that's correct.
Trin,
Yes,
correct?
yes, Trin
Lord
Twilight.
Walker?
Lord Walker extraordinaire. Well, War Walker. I've been given a promotion. No, it's not catching on. No. Need some work. Yes, I'm a Lord Walker. Wind out of my sails. I was trying to, as bards, we gotta experiment. Anyway, yes. It's us.
Either way, the servants should take in most of your belongings and set you up in the guest rooms in the upper hall. You are considered esteemed guests, and as Lady Asheburn and Lord Asheburn are considered friends to the cause, you are more than welcome to stay here. They shall look after your friend and keep him in comfort until the time at which he wakes and decides for himself what next steps shall be taken.
Oh,
Or if you decide to take them for him. Either way.
so he's still resting then.
Yes, they put him in one of the guest rooms on the same floor that you all will be in.
Very well. Thank you for your master's generous hospitality.
Wasn't bad, Trin.
Either way, you can refer to me as Freed,
Read.
the house steward for the Asheburns.
Read.
Anything that you might need or need from any of the other servants, you can either go through myself, or you could go through the governess, or the game warden. Either way.
And how have...
They will treat you as esteemed guests like nobility yourselves. You're welcome to stay as long as you'd like.
And how have the Ashburns been as of late?
They have been fine.
That's good to hear. Any rules of the estate that myself or my companion should be aware of, as to not bring disrespect to our hosts?
I think the rules are fairly clear almost anywhere you go.
Right. You
Address
hear
them
that?
as lord and lady and titles and so on and so forth.
So
Don't steal, don't break anything, don't cause violence on the property.
very good. As such, Locke, I'm talking to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna need your help ensuring that these rules are followed strictly. I think you know what I mean.
Oh, I can't stop him.
Oh my God, you have no tact. You have no tact at all.
Godrek, I need you to be on your best behavior. If you can't think of the right thing to say, it's nothing at all.
Listen, we're not unaccustomed to adventurers of your types being on the property. Like I said, we're allies to the cause. You wouldn't be the first and you won't be the last to arrive. Just be reasonable.
Yes.
We can make accommodations and feed you and give you a place to rest. And plan your next steps.
And that is exactly what we will do. Thank you, Freed.
Yes, absolutely. And he gives like a slight bow. And the servants took all of your guys' luggage inside. Your carrying packs, all of it. Whatever wasn't strapped to your person, went upstairs to your rooms while you were having this conversation.
That's super cool. Oh, Theon, I know you know about servants. We should get some servants.
I have one.
Well, no, I mean, like, all of us. We should get, like,
for
maybe a couple for each of us.
Be quite cumbersome. I forget about Burb all the time.
Oh,
They would be massacred at the first dragon that retaliates at us.
Well, we're going to all be massacred at the first dragon, but that's all right.
Most
well,
likely.
we don't bring the servants to the dragon.
Well, the dragon might come to us.
Oh, but...
We are making quite a stir, and it's only going to get worse.
I don't plan on stopping from pissing off dragons.
We're gonna come back to this.
Recruiting allies, I agree with, but paid servants seems harsh.
Well, I'm going to head inside. Freed, would you be able to take me to where our friend is staying?
Yes, I shall have one of the servants direct you there.
Perfect, thank you.
So he kind of looks over. You, young boy, come over here. Boy runs over, and he kind of leans over and whispers in his ear. He says, follow me, ma'am. I'll take you up to the upper hall."
Yeah, I'll follow him inside.
And as you're kind of going inside, he's just talking. He's like, I believe the lady went to the village to fetch the town to fetch one of the doctors who's worked on adventures before. They should be back this evening. You're just going inside.
That's very good to know, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Freed and all the other servants eventually go inside. He turns as he goes up the steps into the manor, which is this beautiful set of polished stone stairs with these handrails of like this very bright oak, and there's this glowering, like incredibly detailed like gargoyle that's just sitting over the stairs, just looking down at the courtyard. And he turns, well, make your way inside when you are ready. If you have any business to talk amongst yourselves, or you want to explore the estate, feel free to. The estate is rather large, so we have horses that you could ride if you'd like to ride out and see something of the hunting grounds nearby, the creek. Either way. He just turns and heads inside the door, following after Katerina.
Well, Katerina, was that your eye on the prize? I guess we would be pretty remiss if you weren't there when he woke up, right?
I don't care.
I was talking to the rest of the room. Well, the yard. I was talking to the rest of the yard. Sometimes I have to remind these two they have feelings. I'm so depressed.
I'm not looking forward. I'm happy we saved. Feelings. My feelings are deep regret. So.
And how do you deal with deep regret, Locke?
Work.
No! You need help. You need to like not internalize everything. You need to, talk about your feelings and talk to people you care about and be like, I'm sorry I let you down. Please forgive me. I swear. Or however you would do. Beep boop. I'm sorry I let you down. I am a failure.
I've never talked like that.
Well, kind of a little bit. A little bit. When I first met you, you talked like that a little bit. Anyway, you're missing the point. Like I said, 0 attack. We're going to have to work on that as well. If you're going to be doing any kind of representing of anything. And you
What?
keep doing what you're doing. You're beautiful. Start walking inside.
He's not wrong. Elven
Nice.
warriors often talk about their feelings, and elven
Nice.
warriors often talk about their feelings and do
That's
our
the
best
second
to
compliment he's given.
uplift each other.
Fantastic.
Figure in hundreds
Uplift.
of years.
That is actually a good idea. We haven't studied your letters or worked on your handwriting in weeks.
Oh, Theon, are you familiar with how to wield two weapons at all?
No,
Yes,
no.
of course. It will be.
Uh,
It's pretty much basic. I'm sure you've seen Elvis fight. It's kind of their preferred form.
Nope.
Always two swords. Always.
Well, how about a sword and a hammer?
Can be done. A bit unwieldy, I suppose.
I don't know. I'm
Perhaps
not.
if you treated the hammer like an axe, developed a high sword, low axe stance, it could work.
Altheon, don't indulge him. Have you seen his handwriting? He needs practice.
I'd prefer if he didn't know how to write letters at all.
Well, depending how long we're here, if you could give me some training, there we go.
We could discuss something like that. Locke, you just said that you throw yourself into work when you're feeling down,
Yeah, and then
and
he
now you're trying
suggested
to teach someone, so you're doing it right now.
Well, he suggested I help someone or uplift, or you did that. You said that I should help and uplift my allies. Well,
Yes, but it's a bridge. You only do it when they are doing it to you as well. So until you're ready to receive that
I know what you meant.
counsel, all right,
Yes.
away with you.
Fine.
Probably follow Katerina.
I will do that.
Was I? I wasn't too harsh on him, was I?
No. And I close the door.
We could, maybe down by the creek.
It just at some point, depending how long Hargraves is going to be resting.
Sure. Trin? You're going with Katerina?
Yes. Yes!
Well, I mean, I assumed.
Yes!
All right.
He's done a lot of yelling lately.
He's further away from our ears than everyone else. Perhaps it's that.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe he's just angry.
I'm gonna head upstairs and put all my stuff away. Well, the weapons away, besides the sword and the hammer. And then we sit down and tune the sword if we have time.
You all going inside? Nobody has anything to do they want to do in the courtyard or anything?
I'm still in the courtyard. I'm gonna start downloading all of our gear and get Burrup and Misha situated.
Yeah, they're just snoring their way through everything. He's sleeping, just in there in the cart.
Throw pebbles at him until he wakes up. Out of arm's reach.
Yeah, he jumps up after 3 or 4 as the pebbles start getting larger, and you feel like you're throwing rocks at him instead of pebbles. He just looks around and, oh, it looks like we're here.
Yes, everybody's very welcoming. It's a nice change of pace. Let's not do anything to ruin that welcome.
Oh, so you already talked to Godrek then?
Trin did,
Okay.
but maybe you could have that talk with Misha.
The fox just yawns and rolls back over in the carriage seat.
I don't know how long we're going to be here. I feel like we're kind of wasting our time, but they need this done.
They just want to make sure that he's not dead, right? So, I mean, a few days should be all that's needed.
Right, I mean, we knew he wasn't dead when he left. I think they're all hoping to, in some way, feel less guilty about everything by saying hello to him.
Well, I can assist with some stuff. Many of the herbs are different from Erador, but I could still mix some concoctions and some some healing salves to see if that will help him in any way.
Sure. There's a doctor coming from the town if you want to offer your services. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
He jumps down from the carriage. As long as he doesn't run away screaming, and he just stretches.
Well, he's Goliath, so you at least won't be that big to him. But remember that most of the people here aren't used to seeing bugbears, at least within the walls.
I'm sure they're more used to seeing them than we think. Just maybe not on the same side as they are.
Right. Maybe we should buy you a hat. You could tip it to them or something.
You
seem
don't
civilized.
smell it, do you?
I don't. What do you smell?
The smell of warg. They've been here recently.
Really? Everything seems fine. But they probably do withstand the occasional attack.
Could just be a wild pack, roaming. Most wargs are bred from stock for war and for battle, but at one point in time they were wild. Primordial creatures.
I haven't seen a warg in quite some time. Hopefully I don't see one here either. Something disturbing about them.
Either way, I'll make myself available to the doctor when he arrives, the healer. Misha, come on, out of the carriage. She jumps out, climbs down the side, and hits the ground. Shakes her head. And her ears kind of go up. She looks around. And she runs over to the tree and kind of looks up at it and stretches her paws out on it and then just sits underneath it. And when she does, you realize that there's a placard in the tree. Just a piece of metal. Bronze, some alloy. And it looks like there's something inscribed in it.
In common?
Mm-hmm.
I'll read it.
It just has a quote. It just says, "Unlimited power corrupts the possessor. Where law ends, tyranny begins."
Interesting. Quite the quote for an estate. I'll have to ask about that. Well, I'll turn and continue getting stuff out of the carriage. Slowly, as I'm doing that, I'll start taking off most of my armor too.
Okay. Trin, did you go inside?
Yeah, I did.
Godrek went inside. Locke, did you go inside?
Yeah.
So, just inside the entrance as you come in, you can see Katerina hitting the top of the grand staircase going up to the second story. Just inside the main hall of the manor house, you find yourself looking at your feet following a running blue carpet in front of a wide flight of stairs leading up to this expansive landing decorated with antique paintings and gilded frames. From the landing, two more massive staircases kind of branch out to the balconies leading to the upper rooms of the manor. The rich, dark wood is highlighted in its quality by lighted candles along the walls, as well as an enormous chandelier bound by these thick chains to the ceiling of the room. And you can hear the sounds of the staff in the kitchen and see the other hallways, which probably lead to various parlors, rooms, libraries, whatever. The manor's pretty large. But, so what do you want to do?
I'm gonna follow up the stairs. I kind of really see what Hargrave's accommodations look like.
Locke?
I had one of the servants lead me to the room where they took my luggage. Not that I had much.
Okay. Godrek?
I'm going to sit down and attune to my plate.
Just in the middle of the hallway, or?
No, I'm sitting in my room.
Oh.
I'm going to there find my room, I'm assuming lock's gonna be in the same area. I'm gonna put all my stuff, all the extra weapons I have and everything
I
there.
grab my one bag and then take it to his room and just find a seat while he's doing that.
So all the rooms are fairly beautiful. They're fragranted with lilac, lavender, furnished elegantly with large four-post beds laden with like goose-down pillows, silken sheets. Comfortable high-back chairs dominate most of the corners of the room where there's windows. Flanking these each of these rooms has its own individual hearth. Perfumed basins with perfumed water, clean towels. Extra clothes are even provided in armoires for probably expected guests to change into. But nothing that will fit Godrek, obviously. But there's plenty of just dresses to choose from that they're just in the armoire. There's like 8 or 9 of them in there, and they're fairly nice. Some refreshments on one of the small tables. All of your rooms are very similar in either styling. Some of you have paintings, some of you don't. Hargraves is a very similar room. You can see a couple of maids in his room taking care of him, changing out bandages and such. At this point, he's breathing better, and it looks like most of his external, if he had any external wounds, it looks like most of them have already healed at this point.
And I would have just pulled up a chair near his bed and I'm just sitting there.
I forget that he's a Goliath, and then you see him and he's huge.
Oh yeah, the bed is definitely not designed for him. His legs are like coming out from underneath it, and they've taken like an additional table and pushed it to the edge of the bed so that his legs can go out onto the table.
I wonder if it'll take him longer to heal just because he's so much bigger and there's so much more stuff.
He's very strong. If anyone can heal from it, he can.
I guess so. Kind of feel a little bad we had to put the hurt on him, though. But I guess there wasn't really much of an option.
Nothing compared to what he's been dealing with for the last year.
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of look him over and just double check on like his on how his breathing is and how labored is it, and does it seem like he's in more of a coma kind of state, or if he's in like he may wake up soon.
Okay, so
With my expertise in that subject.
okay, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Medicine. Oh! It's gonna be right as rain in no time! That's 7.
The confidence. That's charisma.
Can't make a medicine check with charisma. I got an 8. Oh, it's a 7.
I don't know. You've seen a lot of people wounded and hurt over the years adventuring, way more than you care to remember at times. If the healer arrives and he continues trending this way, he's not necessarily in a coma, but because you can see that he's dreaming, and he looks like he's healing. He's just tired.
Mm-hmm. Oh, oops. Oh, that started bleeding. Just cover that up.
Back in the room where Hargraves is resting, peacefully it seems, dreaming, Trin and Katerina, the maids finish up their duties inside the room and exit, leaving you two alone in there with Hargraves.
Well, it seems like they didn't notice. Must not be that bad. He'll bounce right back. But it seems like he's dreaming. Maybe it's better that way, so he has a little bit of a reprieve. I didn't tell anyone, but I totally went in there.
In where?
His dreams. I wanted to see what was going on. I wanted to see if it was a toy mind broken.
And
Nope, totally not mind broken. Didn't seem that way anyway. He was replaying through some of his youth. Not necessarily great stuff, but familiar. I got a sense of familiarity and being comfortable fighting back some bad guys that were well within his ability to handle. I hate those dreams where the bad guys, you fight them back, but then it doesn't feel like a dream anymore because they're actually beating you, and you're like, what the fuck? This is my dream! But anyway, so that doesn't seem to be happening to him. I tried to, appear before him with my angelic voice and give him some peace of mind. A subtle thing, like maybe it was his own idea. I don't know if it'll carry over or even mean anything, but it was worth a shot.
I think so. It probably at least gave him some comfort.
Yeah.
Maybe this is where he's been the whole time, while the werewolf was being tortured.
Maybe. If that's... This is hard. I think if that's what makes him comfortable, everything else must really suck. Just in general. It doesn't seem like he's had a kind life. In general.
No, I don't think so.
I think in that way he probably has a lot in common with Godrek. I was thinking about helping Godrek out, but he seems so averse to my kind of magic. I wanted to send him back home for a little bit so he could see some of his old friends or his mentor. Sneak up while he's sleeping and just boop, send him there. Might take him a little while to catch on though. But, it seems like that would really bother him. I was fishing for information and he was just really resistant.
I just think he's very independent.
I love you too.
Oh, maybe that stuff's kind of good for him though. Like Locke, for example. He's so busy trying to avoid everything. Maybe getting a little dose or exposure to the things he's scared of. Not monsters, but reality, feelings, people he cares about. Maybe it's easier, just focusing on all these horrible things because it's the horrible things that they focus on is something they can handle, not whatever their imagination is making up for the things they're trying to avoid. Anyway, I was thinking that maybe I could send them back to see Wise Drifter or something. Maybe someone who could give him some invite or help him in ways that I can't. Fortunately, Locke doesn't really dream, so I can't really help him out with his feelings short of talking to him, and I don't get very far with that.
It's less obvious, but I think he cares about us a lot. I mean, he wouldn't be here if he didn't.
Yeah, I just wish he could admit that to himself. What about you, Katarina? I know the attention's kind of been on, Hargraves and Locke and trying to go back to visit old Leon's family, which I honestly feel real bad about how that went, even though I had nothing to do with it. For once, it wasn't me, which is kind of nice. But I just wish it wasn't anything at all. Like, how are you feeling?
difficult. I'm feeling a lot of different ways about this. Obviously, it's good that he's back. So I'll try to focus on that one.
That's probably best. You know, I had a friend when I was striking out to be the adventurer that, you know, filling the boots of Von Bell. I really felt like I was failing left and right. You know, I make up for that by trying to make friends everywhere I go. And in one little tavern I was staying in, I was speaking to one of the local bards. And at the time, I was in a pretty rough spot, and he's lived a pretty rough life himself. And he said that the thing that makes it so he's able to keep going is to celebrate the little things. Every little thing you get right. Because otherwise you're just stuck with these big monolithic things that get in your way and you feel like you can't accomplish. Because you're so focused on that, you miss all the little things that you do get right.
I think that's very good advice. If we were constantly judging our success by whether the entire cult of domination has been defeated, we'd be sorely disappointed all of the time.
Yeah, that's true. But the reason I say that to you is because, you know, Altheon's very philosophical and Godrek is short-sighted. And Locke is all up in his head, just in a very different way than Altheon.
Mm.
And they're different but similar. You would think they would get along better. But I feel like it's you that helps them recenter and focus on the things that matter. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
I certainly have help. I have help with that. I honestly kind of think of you as a moral center for the group. A lot of the time.
Well, I try. You know, we all make mistakes, so I'll catch you if you slip up, and you catch me when I'm slipping up. I know I can be, I don't know, dramatic at times every once in a while. So.
Well, that's alright. It balances out Altheon and Locke, who are quite serious all the time. So have to have a little bit of drama. Keep it interesting.
Yeah, if nothing else, then to keep them on their toes. I think dose them with a little bit of drama will make them more complete people. Because they're both very distinguished, but there are definitely some gaps there, whether they like to admit it or not. It's good for them.
Well, it might be easier for them to see flaws in each other when they're so similar. They can see the worst part of themselves in each other. And that might make it difficult to see and focus on the good parts.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm nothing but great, so I don't really see flaws in anybody. Just ways I can help them. Except for Godrek, who's short-sighted. Always focused on the here and now. But he means well.
We certainly are a group with a wide range.
Extremes. I can't help but wonder where we'd be at if Mason had made it out with the rest of you. Probably be a little different. Probably wouldn't have needed my help. At least not as much.
I think we would have. He just would have also needed your help. It would have been much more work for you.
I can only imagine. Godrek by himself, but another Goliath. Oh, jeez. The dog Goliath. Oh, jeez.
I do know that we wouldn't be here right now. And I think here right now is pretty good. So
This is pretty good. Pretty swank. Little pool with the choir.
That's certainly a good perk that the rest of us don't have.
Yeah, and it is nice that he'll be able to wake up in a non-hellish dungeon with cages and without cages and dead bodies and blood spatters all over the place.
I can imagine just not being in pain must be the best feeling in the world right now.
Well, that's why I think he'll be in pain for a long time. At least when he comes back. Have you thought about what you're gonna talk to him about? Just say hello and I don't know. So what do you say about hell? Maybe just thank yous. Maybe you don't have to have all the words, but just say what you mean anyway.
I think us being here will be the most important part.
You're probably right. And speaking of being here, where the fuck is Locke?
Did he come upstairs?
He was supposed to. He was right behind me a little while ago. I was giving this lecture of how he needed to throw himself at Barbrave's feet and beg for forgiveness and vocalize his regret. He's so in his head that maybe if he just talked to someone about it. I can only imagine he's just running through it over and over and punishing himself. And, the ones he's wronged isn't him, it's everyone else. Well, he didn't even necessarily wrong him, he just made a mistake. So maybe if he gave them a chance to forgive him, he could forgive himself.
You and I know that there's nothing to forgive, but it might take Hargraves forgiving him for Locke to see that too.
Well, Locke is avoiding things. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. In fact, I'm gonna go find him.
I'll be here if you need me.
All right. Bye. Locke! Where are you? Get back over here! Supposed to be prostrating yourself or something. Some big word like that. As I walk down the hall.
All right. So what are you doing?
I'm sitting in the room with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking over his new weapon and
Yep.
sharpening or whatever he does.
Playing with it.
Yeah, playing with it.
Wielding both weapons, awkwardly thinking about how to do stuff.
You know what you should do? You should take the really sharp one and just run through the hallways with it.
Run with this.
Yeah.
I am just studying my spell book. Or my spell shard. Doing my best to stay silent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it only takes an hour to tune, so eventually you do. So it's your weapon. You
Yeah.
equip it.
And I unattune from the ring of poison resistance to do so.
Okay.
Well, what do you think? Is it a sword enough for you?
A little small.
It is a little small in here.
Probably not going to be wielding it. Well, might be able to hand that half hand in there. It'll take some getting used to. But it should do what it needs to.
We're going to go check on Hargraves.
And healing him. We're going to wait for him to wake up. There's no point. There's no point in going over there. We just got him here.
Do me a favor, as I hear Trin. Go
Huh.
check on Hargraves. Tell Trin you haven't seen me.
Fine. I get up.
Mm.
I just nod at him and I walk away.
Hmm.
Go check on Hargraves. As I see, What are you doing, Trin? Why are you yelling?
I'm looking for Locke.
No,
He's supposed to be asking Hargrave for forgiveness and talking about his feelings and stuff.
haven't seen him. And I keep walking by.
What do you mean? I know you've seen him. You guys are attached at the hip. You can't just pretend. Stop ignoring me. As I start following him down the hallway.
I don't know what to tell you. I haven't seen him. Just doing what I'm told.
You're lying. I know you're lying. If I have to turn this whole manor upside down, I will find that piece of scrap metal. Fine. Be that way. I'm going to remember this.
Bye.
So I go the direction he pointed.
Gotcha. Walking down the halls.
Did you betray me and point me in the wrong direction?
You'll never know.
DM, did he betray me and point me in the
Yeah,
wrong
you literally have to
direction?
ask you.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to.
You'll never. End scene.
End scene.
I pointed you past the room at which Locke was in. I was asked.
There's only so many rooms in the house.
You find some of my things in one of the empty rooms.
Damn it, Locke must be outside or something practicing his magic. I'll go grab one of the horses. I'll track him down. I have detective skills. Remember your lore walker training. I'm gonna go down and start exploring the ground.
Okay. It's a lot to explore.
Determined.
Nice.
All right. What's Ultion doing then?
I was unpacking everything and getting ready to train / spar with Godrek when he finally came down.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna head there instead of Hargraves' room.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't any intention of going to see Hargraves.
Okay.
So he's just not awake. I'm telling you. Sitting there just pointless.
It's like talking to a chair or something. Can't hear me anyways, right?
I get that enough with Locke. I don't need to deal with Hargraves.
Godrek, there you are.
Sorry, I was attuning to this.
I don't care. Come with me.
Excellent.
I pulled out I've got my longsword in one hand and just a mediocrely carved tree branch in the other. The thing is, I don't know what your foundation is. It seems as if you have none whatsoever. But I don't mean that rudely, I just mean that we're very different styles of warriors.
I just go with do what feels right.
Right, well, what I'm going to teach you is something a little bit different. I want you to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. We're going to work on stances and patience. We'll use this tree here. I square up on the tree. The first thing everyone messes up, terribly so, is you're going to get yourself tied up in your weapons, on your limbs, and you're going to end up punching yourself. I guarantee it. So, what you're going to work on is what we call flow. And then I just start moving up on the left side and then down on the right side of the tree, and then I'll take a step and do the same thing, and I just go through this almost dance-like motion with the items I'm wielding. It should look just like this, and if you screw it up, you're going to start over. 1 hour.
All right, then. I attempt to try to do what he did. Only difference is instead of like flowing with the hammer, I'll try to give the hammer a harder hit and then flow with the sword.
Slow. No, you're going to destroy the tree. You have an hour of this. Godrek, slow down.
Andy.
You're going to fight from a place that has nothing to do with anger.
No.
Fight from a place of peace.
I don't know how to do that.
Well, what's something that you think of when I say peace?
What happens when I hit someone with the hammer really hard? That they're in pieces?
Oh, all right. Let's try something else. What feeling do you get when you think about home?
Sadness?
All right.
Longing?
Okay. Look out. You're in your village right now. Look out across the mountains. I'm sure they're very tall and cold. You remember that the snow-capped tips, the trees moving in the wind, and that sort of just emptiness. Right after a new snow falls. No birds, no animals. Just kind of silent with almost an echo. Think about that. Well, Godrek, you stopped swinging. You're just thinking.
This is what you told me to do.
Can't
Well,
multitask.
I want you to multitask. You do the one while thinking of the other.
I didn't realize it was going to be this type of lesson.
I'm gonna try to do what I'm being instructed to do as best as I can.
And I do my best not to pick on him, even though I want to so bad.
Yes, I'm just gonna spend some time trying to not get my arms caught up in two weapons. Okay.
After a little while, you're joined in the room by Burrup, who comes in and checks on Hargraves. He doesn't really say anything to you. Misha doesn't follow him in there, at least you don't see her. But he goes and looks at him and kind of touches his wrists and moves his hands and opens up his eyelids and kind of looks on the inside and then takes this like plant and kind of mushes up in his fingers and then just like puts it on the inside of his mouth. And then he turns and looks at you and just nods, and as he's leaving the room, the healer isn't here yet. When the healer gets here, I'll come back. He's not dead.
Thank you.
And he just closes the door. After about an hour or so of you guys sparring, a few riders come through the gate, and you see very obviously a healer has a whole bunch of vials and potions and stuff, alchemical ingredients packed onto the horse. And then you see a couple of armed guards in their brigandine with their swords. One of them's carrying a banner. It has the Asheburn family sigil on it. And the other rider is more than likely Lady Asheburn herself. They kind of ride up into the courtyard, see you two there, and the servants come out and start taking the horses and their equipment off. They lead the horses away. And the lady and the two guards come over. So, she's a fairly attractive, fair-skinned woman in her mid-years. She's wearing this long patterned dress slashed with this bright yellow underneath the sleeves, and her hair is this deep brown that's braided with a simple cloth band around her forehead. She comes over. So you two are some of the adventurers that are staying with us, then?
Correct.
Allies
Yep.
to the Brotherhood of the Silver Choir.
Exactly that. This is Godrek. I'm
Yep.
Orpheon.
Nice to meet your acquaintance. Have you seen my husband yet on the grounds? Is he here?
I can't say that I have.
He must still out be on the hunt then.
Definitely haven't seen anybody.
So she turns over to the healer. Just go upstairs, you know where he is. Go and check in on him.
Lady, one of my compatriots is he has a nose for things, and he sensed wargs in the area. Your
It's very
husband is-
astute. Sense the hunt.
Ah, they're hunting wargs.
No, my husband is out with our groundskeeper and some of the other men, getting rid of them.
Oh, they are hunting wargs. Sorry,
Yes.
my common isn't always the best.
That's fine.
It's my fourth language.
It's a regular event, regular occurrence. Sometimes it's goblins, sometimes it's just the wargs. Either way, they come and they take cattle from the villagers or sheep or whatever they can get their hands on, and they flee into the woods.
Just wanted to warn you in case they were unaware.
Either way, well,
Thank
keep
you.
doing what you're doing then.
We shall. Thank you so much for your hospitality.
So she looks at you. Don't destroy the tree, though.
I'm doing my best not to.
It's an important tree.
Should we hit a different tree?
Yes, perhaps we move.
You should probably hit another tree.
I'm gonna go to a different tree.
It's an important tree to the family.
Is-
It's been here since the estate was founded, and it was one of the only trees that survived one of the great fires that swept through the lands during the Dragon Wars.
The plaque atop it, what significance does that hold?
So she kind of walks over to it, and she reads it out loud. My husband's great-great-grandfather, unfortunately, had to deal with another family member's corruption, which led to a small amount of infighting. And when he was finally overthrown and defeated, these were the words that his great-grandfather spoke, and we immortalized them on this tree.
It's good to remember things like that.
It's good to remember where our places are, not to get greedy, do our duties to the people who are underneath us.
That's
He had
correct.
become obsessed with moving up. And in doing so, he forgot the people who live here, who serve us. By the way, it's all ancient history now for our family.
But you said it right. It is our duty to those beneath us. We are as much their servants as they are ours.
My husband and I both agree, which is why we've been supporting the Silver Choir for quite some time now. They stay here. This is a safe place for them, safe from those who would do them harm, safe from spies. The people in town know who to look for, how to look for them, and we keep the land safe.
Seem to be doing well, and I thank you for your hospitality again.
Things have been generally peaceful, aside from the war happening nearby. Near is a strange way to put it, I guess nearest as it could be. Had some trouble with brigands and bandits and those who flee their duties, being on the roads, harassing people nearby in the territories. We've increased our patrols, which is why we came across the wargs and found their tracks going across our estate. Hopefully my husband and his men can get to them before they may actually harm something harm somebody.
Well, you seem confident in your husband's skills, and I'm sure, knowing what he was riding into, he wouldn't have done it if he didn't think he could. But should you need assistance, I'm sure we could provide that.
I appreciate the offer. It shouldn't be necessary. Like I said, this is a regular occurrence. Happens every season or so. There's normally no more than a dozen, so we grab a couple of woodsmen and a few other the strong hands, the young men who would like to prove themselves, and they go and slay them. And it should be back tonight. Might be late in the evening. I'll entertain you tonight then. We eat in the Great Hall.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you.
She turns to walk away, and then stops.
Sorry, my friends have already made themselves at home. I do believe they're waiting in on the man you are caretaking for us. But,
Yes, Ben Wallace saw to it that the servants and everyone were informed on who to expect, who our guests were, what they looked like, and he should be back, maybe within a day or so, with more supplies.
right.
Your friend came back to us completely naked, with no weapons or nothing. We've taken it upon ourselves to reach out to a tailor in Conewald, fetch him some armaments, and have them brought here.
So you weren't informed as to his nature?
Oh, I'm aware he's a blood hunter.
Yes, he's afflicted with what appears to be a more controllable form of lycanthropy. Though, I'm sorry you were not told beforehand. Part of why we are here, to see what happens when he wakes up.
I've heard stories about blood hunters before. Their natures, their various ailments. Would not surprise me. I was informed that he would be safe, and that he wouldn't be a danger to myself, my staff, my husband, or the people here, and that the Silver Choir looks to get in contact with a nearby enclave or find passing blood hunters to put him with.
Excellent.
He can stay on the grounds if he so chooses, or he can leave if he so chooses. Hence why we're bringing him armaments and armor. The roads are, like I said, dangerous currently. They didn't used to be not more than a few years ago. Things are changing. Even the wildflowers bloom differently now.
Well, they're certainly beautiful, as is.
We tend to encourage their growth here.
Good.
We believe it's a sign of healthy land.
The Leorans share a very similar belief.
Well, I shall retire and take care of some of the estate's duties. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask any number of the staff that are running around working.
Alright, will do.
You guys see Trin coming out, leading a horse, talking to it. Gives it an apple.
We're gonna find Locke. We're gonna chase him down. We're gonna drag him back to talk about his feelings, whether he wants to or not.
Trin, what's the horse for?
The horse is for riding on. We've talked about my stature. Makes it easier to get around.
Right, but what are you doing with it now?
Well, I'm gonna go find Locke because he's giving me the slip. He was supposed to talk to Hargraves about his feelings.
Well, you'd have had to be quite stealthy to slip past me. I've been out here the entire time.
Well, you think maybe he used magic?
No, I think maybe he used some form of deceit because Godrek's got that look on his face.
What are you talking about? Godrek told me he was back the way I went the way Godrek pointed me to, and he wasn't there.
Was his left eye twitching when he did it?
I don't know, he's really tall, so I couldn't really see his eyes. It's really far away.
It's his tell.
Is he telling right now? Is he? Is he telling? Altheon, you are a paladin, a holy man. You are required by right and law to tell me the truth.
See, I am a war master, and deceit is part of war. I am under no oath to keep the truth. That being said, I do not know where Locke is, only that he hasn't gotten by me.
All you've told me is that I can't trust you. How are we supposed to be a team?
Well, I would trust the person who told me I couldn't trust them more than the person who told me I could.
Oh, now you're just fucking getting confused, and I'm tired of this.
I pointed behind me, like he was back the way I came.
I went that way. He wasn't there.
I don't tell you, he was there when I left.
I right over. Show me your eyes and tell me.
He was there when I left.
Is his eye twitching? Is it?
Why are you asking this guy if my eye is twitching?
He's doing that audience thing again, where he thinks he's on a stage.
I swear.
I think he's telling the truth.
When I walked by you, I was walking with you. And then, when I said I hadn't seen him, I was asked to say that, so I did. And when I pointed behind me, it meant he was behind us.
But I went that way.
I don't know what to tell you. He was definitely there.
Did he say what he was going to do? Mr. Liar McLiar face.
No, he didn't. He was sitting there being himself.
Dang it! No, right back. They're searching.
Let's give the
poor
horse
man
back to
again.
the servant.
I'll put the horse away for him.
Yeah, stable hand runs over and gets the horse. Does he not need it?
I don't even know where he got it, honestly.
He said he was going to ride the grounds and look for the wizard.
The wizard has been found.
Oh. Alright, then I shall put Sable back then. Good day, my lord. And he turns and walks away with the horse.
Such a common horse name, Sable. Probably the fourth I've heard.
Well, that was entertaining.
So you just rip roaring through the manor. I mean, the doors are all locked, other than your room, Hargraves' room, and you see Burra in Ulthion's room.
Katarina, have you seen Locke yet?
I haven't, no.
Damn it! And I close the door. I run over. Burra! Burra!
What do you want?
Have you seen Locke?
No, I haven't seen Locke.
Everybody's lying to me, Burra! Tell me the truth. Have you seen Locke?
No, I haven't seen Locke. I've been in here. I'm eating.
Remember, goblin to kind of goblin.
I'm sure to take that.
As a compliment. Fine. If you're not gonna help me, I'll do it my damn self. I'm searching the grounds. Boy, young master, child, I need that horse. And then I go.
He's taking the saddle off it and stuff, and just uncinching it, and
I'm
then
gonna need that back on. I'm sorry.
you can visibly see them. Of course you do. And just puts it back on there. They start tying it back on.
I walk up to him.
Straps.
Thank you. But real quick, can I tell you something?
Sure, why not?
Your friends, they'll betray you. I just want you to know that. They'll betray you. Don't trust anyone. Not even yourself.
I'll take that to heart, sir. Thank you.
Well, be careful about that, because I could betray you.
He looks. No, don't. No. I don't know what this.
This could all be a trip. We're in a hallucination.
Take that saddle back off.
I'll bring him back and get commission. Oh, hey! As I use my silver tongue, we're gonna find that fucking robot. If it's the last thing I do, then I'm gonna start riding the ground.
Yeah, you two just see this whole thing unfolding. Runs over there, runs around the back, comes back around riding the horse, and rides past you,
I kind of want to
muttering to himself about finding the fucking robot.
I kind of want to say something, but at this point, this is A, entertaining, and B, he wouldn't believe me.
I don't believe you.
About what?
Why did you mislead him at the beginning?
Because Locke asked me to.
All right, fair enough.
I think Locke is scared to have this conversation with Trin, because he knows that if he doesn't do what Trin tells him to do, Trin will never shut up. Which means he's going to do what Trin told him to do, so he's asking him to run away and hide. Or asking so he can run away and hide. There we go.
That was about as confusing as your form. Square your legs better. We're starting over. Hour starts now.
I go back to going. This is a tree I can hit, right?
You're not hitting it anyway. It's just there to stop your blow.
What? When you swing a weapon, it hits.
Fast and light. We're working on technique, not strength. You have strength. What you lack is technique. Skill, really. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm processing a lot of things right now, and I had to decide how I wanted to handle this.
Process while you think about peace and strike the
Peace
tree.
doesn't work. Let me try this. And I'm going to slow down and start thinking about the steady hammering of an anvil and trying to match pace with that instead.
Good. Predictable, but good.
Predictable's fine means that I'm more likely to hit them.
Oh, it means they're more likely to see it coming.
Shit.
It's all right. We've got to start somewhere. It's just surprising that you, with no skill whatsoever, are still better than pretty much any human I've ever seen.
I just swing really hard.
Bridget's better than you, I think.
Yes. Maybe. I don't
What?
know. What the fuck just... Trin's off in the wilderness, giggling, waving at nobody.
Copy paste isn't working right.
Is that a spell?
Anyway, so there's his prawn hub link.
Yeah. I could have understood if that was.
I didn't realize it
if
was
that
related
was
to
it.
shrimp.
I wouldn't have looked at him all weird.
No, I sent him. I was sending him something. And I was like, "Hey, in case you need this specific information," but it came from like a little. I don't know what it even came from. It says every now and then, come and take my hand for. Oh, never mind.
It's a song.
Yeah, no, that's my song. Yeah,
It's totally
so I
a
started
song.
taking this from a song.
He didn't even know what it was about, and
Yeah.
he laughed.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Proceeded by in case you needed at all. I'm like,
Why do I need this song?
Why do I need this?
I don't know what I needed for. Is something happening I am unaware of?
I don't think you heard me, just in case.
Just in case.
it's like no, Andrew, I love you.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice.
Writing poetry to each
Yeah.
other during this session.
We don't have enough time right now, but I'd like to therapy session how he said he loved you and you replied with nice. We'll have to talk about that at
Yeah.
some point in our lives.
I could have said awesome sauce. Anyways.
Could have said, hey.
Yeah. I apologize.
Worth it.
All right.
Oh.
Where was I? Oh yeah. That's where I was. I was there doing that thing right there. A really important thing.
Welcome to Legendary Action, everybody. Where we play Dungeons and Dragons like a bunch of badasses.
That's true. Everything he just said, every word of it. theoretically.
Ass. Ass.
It's funny. Okay, we were in the courtyard. He rides off. All right, so back to you guys training then. So
Godrek, is your intent to use these exact weapons, not just to throw the hammer and then start swinging the sword?
I want to get comfortable using both in my hands, so that way if I need to hit someone in the leg with the hammer and then go for the head, I can, but then I can also throw this if I needed to. Then I can always just swing like normal.
Like your normal. Yes. All right. Well, I don't think I would like to say that I appreciate you being receptive to my style of training. I don't think it's helping you at all.
Just a little bit. The rhythm and the calmness, I get what you mean. It's about moving your arms in such a way that you're not going to get caught up or tangled. So you have to think of a way to move your arms to something so you're not
Right. Well, maybe it's not a complete waste then. Calm yourself.
What would seem to work is thinking of an anvil.
It was peaceful for you.
Yes.
Just the ringing.
The ringing, the constant hammering, the consistent feeling.
All right. I go over and I grab my shield and just drag it over by you. And then I just start taking the pommel of my sword and hammering it on the top of my shield, trying to create that rhythmic banging.
Okay.
You do fight from a place of fury, though. So focus on that. Just don't let it overtake you. Concentrate on your fury and find its source. And then use it.
Okay. Just get moving, following that rhythm.
make a Yeah. Thanks, Alex. You're on timeout now. Yeah.
I got me. Holy
Thank you. Make a athletics check.
All right.
Yes, make an athletics
Jeez
check.
Louise.
I missed, but 16.
Okay.
It's the whole thing.
Whole fucking thing.
Now make me a perception check, real quick.
Wow. There you go. Natural 20. So 21. 21.
21, you said?
Mm-hmm. I was going to say 22 because I'm trying to get in the habit of remembering I have a +1 to saved.
Leave him alone, he's in timeout.
Yeah, he's not supposed to enjoy it.
So, with the rhythmic clanging of the pommel on the shield, you look inwards for this. You try to go to the place where your rage lives, the source and the power of the runes, and there is something there, something just beneath the surface that you can feel this burning fire, this heat building up inside you, this intensity. It feels familiar, but it doesn't. It usually happens so fast that you don't have time to think about it this deeply. But through it there is a bellowing roar in the distance, and you feel like there is a power sweeping across the land. It's almost like you can see the memories of the dragon that is in your runes. With powerful wings that cause hurricanes, you rule over a wide territory. People worship you. They bring you whatever you ask for. You kill all other contenders to your power, to your throne. Until another dragon comes. And you envision this scene, this out-of-body experience, as a voice speaks down to you. At first, distant and difficult to hear, quiet, but then becomes clear. And it says to you, it is time to make war upon the mortal races. Gothamar, will you join me? And you simply raise your head and look and respond, yes, Queen Takesis. What you see is this calm, collected Goliath. This powerful magic emanates from his runes. This wafts off him into the surrounding areas, picking up dirt and moving the trees, shaking it in the ground around him. And there is the same rage that you've seen him use countless times to just devastate his enemies with. It's there, and you can see it in his body and his posture, but there is now a crisp battle focus to his movements, which are purposeful, far more than you've seen them before. And he goes through the motions of doing everything that you asked him to do, following along with rhythmically to this sound that you're doing for him, this metronome you've made out of your shield. And then he roars as he comes in for a huge swing with the hammer and just stops just shy of hitting the tree, with maybe one of the mightiest swings you've seen a person take with a weapon of that design. And then he wakes up, and the magic calms, and it's just Godrek standing there.
What did you do?
I don't. I when I rage, I would pull from runes. I would pull its magic and just let it go. With the beat and focus, I was able to find it where it dwells and pull from it. And then I had a vision of the dragon within the runes. I was this dragon, and I learned its name, and that it fought on the side of the Kisis against the mortals.
Fascinating.
As
What was the name?
Gothromar. And as I delved deeper, I felt I was pulling from this dragon. More of its energies, more of its everything was becoming mine. And it just was so easy. And I stopped. And now I'm here.
Then perhaps it is safe to say that your power, your strength, never came from Crom or Ragnar. Perhaps it's coming from the dragon within.
It always has. I did my trials. I became a weapon of my people. I was the weapon sent to kill dragons. A specific one. My dreams or nightmares. When Weisdrifter rolled the bones and said there was to be a great hunt. So when the trials began, I think this is just, I don't know how they did it. How they captured the dragon's essence or soul and bound it to these runes that I could use it. I think I want to speak to it again.
Speak to
The dragon,
Gothromar.
When I saw him the first time, he said we were alike. It is why we were chosen. He said I was as much of a conqueror as he was. And all my desires were his. As much as, yes.
Well, sure. Glory, combat. Well, lots of beings can share those desires.
But the desire to rule because one is stronger than everyone else.
I think most people have that desire. That's why we want strength, is to lead. Be in charge.
I've never done that. It was like being angry without angry. There was focus. It was...
Right.
What is the word you use? Grace.
Serenity.
That is a good word.
Well, you can harness that again. I look around, make sure nobody else is within earshot. Then, well, I'd be worried for the dragons that stand in your way. It was impressive, Godrek.
Well, I want to do that again.
I can watch over you.
And I'm gonna nod at both of you, and I'm gonna try to do it again. I'm gonna try to find that same serenity.
Okay.
Practice a different way of delving into it. Third time.
Try as you might, can't get there again.
Maybe I might try it another time. But for now, I thank you, Orpheon.
So, when we pray the priests of Alatrari. Alatrari does not speak to us most of the time, yet we'll still use the same prayer that we used during the times Alatrari did speak. I think much in the same way, if you continue to master the techniques you have, the dragon will come when it's ready.
I think I will reach out to him again eventually. Ask him, find out more. Maybe see if he's willing to give me more.
Careful. I point up to the plaque on the placard on the tree.
Is a good quote.
Absolute power.
What if we need it?
We won't.
Then I'm gonna walk right up to Ulfion and give him a hug. Thank you, Ulfion. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Oh, sorry. I was actually really excited.
You're welcome. Put me down, please.
Gently, just
Perhaps from now on, just like a fist bump.
a pat on the back.
All right. Yes, that's better.
Well, hopefully Trin comes back. I haven't heard his screaming.
Cause for alarm when I don't hear Trin. Let's go find him.
Sounds good to me. I'm gonna look up at the plaque and kind of stop for a second before nodding my head and following after Ulfion.
As you walk away, you hear a voice in the back of your head. Just says, "It's a fine quote. But only fools lose that power."
I'll respond back with a name. Just a question. I'm assuming that you are Gothramar.
Silence.
This has gotten more weird. Hopefully I'm not the fool and lose that power then.
So, your hand, you go to sheathe your weapon, and on the bottom of your hand, you see that there are some patches of scales that sink back into your body.
I'm gonna quicken my pace to Ulfion. I'm just start looking around my arms just to make sure they're not anymore.
Don't appear to be anymore.
Alright.
So Trin, you spend the better part of most of the rest of the day riding around the estate, unsuccessfully, not unable to locate Locke. You don't pick up any tracks, any signs of anything.
You know he can
where
fly.
he could have been. Yeah.
You know that.
Son of a bitch. He's probably off in the woods or something.
It's closing down on evening as the sun is kind of coming down, getting low on the horizon there. And the clouds in the sky are hit with a ray of colors of yellows, oranges, and purples. And from where you are, you can kind of see down into this kind of small valley where you can see the fires coming from the chimneys of the farmsteads and small outlying villages that are part of the estate. Then your horse kind of shifts uncomfortably and it kind of kicks its head up. And you can see its ears kind of move, and it swishes its tail.
Whoa.
And then something hits you and the animal at the same time. And you tumble end over end onto the ground. And you look up, and you see 3 large wargs have closed in on your location. And one is bearing down on you, paw after paw, saliva dripping down from its mouth. Until next Friday.
Ah!